It's 9 years later, summer 1913. Lots of changes have come to Grover's Corners. Horses are getting rarer. Farmers are driving their Fords into market. And folks are starting to lock the doors and windows for fear of burglars they hear about, though we haven't seen any here. But in spite of all the changes, not much changes here in Grover's Corners. Especially not up here, on the hilltop. Up here you can see the stars, the moon, the sky. You can see over to the White Mountains, to Lake Sunapee, Lake Winnipesaukee, up to Jaffrey and North Jaffrey, over to Mount Washington, Mount Monologue, everyone's favorite mountain. Over to Conroy, North Conroy, Petersboro, and Dublin. And then way below, Grover's Corners. Yeah, mighty nice place up here. Full of lilac and mountain laurel. You wonder why people would get buried in Brooklyn or Woodlawn. They could just as easily pass the time up here in New Hampshire. Now, the oldest graves date from the 1660s and 1670s. Folks come up here on weekends and make fun of the spellings on the tombstones. Well, I suppose there's no harm in that. Other folks hire genealogists to come up from Boston to see if they were part of the Mayflower or the daughters of the American Revolution. I suppose there's no harm in that either. Over here are the Civil War veterans. Each one an iron flag. These were young New Hampshire boys fighting for the preservation of the Union, even though most of you probably haven't seen 50 miles of it. They knew a name. The United States of America. The United States of America. And they died for it. Over here is the newest part of the cemetery. You'll recognize Mrs. Gibbs. There's Simon Stimson. Mrs. Soames, who had so much fun at the wedding. And there's Wally Webb, Mr. Webb's son. Wally burst an appendix. A Boy Scout trip over to Crawford Notch. Yeah, there's a lot of sorrow up here. My family's just wild with grief. Bring their relatives up here in the snow, the wind, the rain. There are a lot of thoughts up here. There's no post office. Now, you know, there's some things that we all know. We don't take them out and look at them very often. We all know that something is eternal. You know, in our bones, there's something eternal, and it's eternal in human beings. And everyone right for 5,000 years has been saying that there's something eternal in every human being. Now, dead don't stay interested in the living for very long. Slowly, they begin to back away. They withdraw. They become weaned from the world. That's how I'd put it. Weaned from the world. All those passions, emotions, pain and suffering, it all fades away. That earth part of them burns out, and they become indifferent to everything around them, including Grover's Corners. But they're waiting. They're waiting for something to come out, something important. What they're waiting for is the coming out of the eternal inside of them. Clear? Now, some of the things I'm going to say might hurt your feelings a little, but that's just the way it is. Father and mother, husband and wife, miser and money, enemy and enemy, all these categories that were so important before just begin to fade away. What's left? But you've lost your memory and your identity, Mrs. Smith. Now here's some living people. There's Stoddard, who supervised the digging of the Fesh grave. And there's Sam Craig, Grover's Corners native, who left and moved out west.
Good afternoon, Stoddard.
Good afternoon. Oh, good afternoon. Let me see now. Do I know you?
I'm Sam Craig.
Gracious sakes alive! Of all people, I should have known you'd be back for the funeral. You've been away a long time, Sam.
Yes, I've been away for over 12 years now. I was doing business in Buffalo now, and I was in the East when I got the news of my cousin's death. So I thought I'd combine things a little and come back and see the old home. You look well.
Oh, yes, can't complain. We start our journey today, Sam.
Yes.
Yes, I always say, I hate to supervise when a young person is taken. They'll be here in a few minutes now. I had to come here early today. My son's supervising at the home.
Oh, Farmer McCarthy. I used to do chores for him after school. He had lumbago.
Yes, we brought Farmer McCarthy here a number of years ago now.
Is that my Aunt Julia? I've forgotten that she... Of course.
Yes. Doug Gibbs lost his wife 2 or 3 years ago, about this time. And today's another bad blow for him too.
That's my sister's Carrie's child. Sam Craig.
Always makes me nervous when they're around.
Simon.
Do they write their own verses much, Stoddard?
No, not usual. Mostly the bereaved speak a verse.
Doesn't sound like Aunt Julia. Well, there aren't many of the Cersei sisters left now, I guess. Let me see. I wanted to see my mothers and fathers.
Over there with the Grex, Avenue F.
He was the organist at church. Drank a lot, we used to say.
Nobody was supposed to know about it. He'd seen a bag of trouble. Took his own life, you know.
Oh, did he?
Hung himself in the attic. They tried to hush it up, but of course, it got around. Joseph's on evidence. You can see it over there. It ain't a verse exactly.
Why, it's just some notes of music. What is it?
I wouldn't know. It was wrote up in the Boston papers at the time.
Stoddard, what did she die of?
Who?
My cousin.
Well, didn't you know? Had some trouble bringing a baby into the world. What's her second there? There's a little boy about 4 years old.
And the grave is going to be here.
Yes, but they ain't much more room here among the Gibbses, so they are opening up a whole new Gibbs section over by Avenue B. Oh, you'll excuse me now. I see they're coming.
Who is it, Julia?
My daughter-in-law, Emily Webb.
I declare, growing up here must have been awfully muddy.
Emily looked like her mind.
What did she die of, Julia?
In childbirth.
Childbirth. I'd forgotten about that. Oh, wasn't life awful? And wonderful.
Wonderful. Was it?
Now, Simon, remember.
I remember Emily's wedding. Wasn't it a lovely wedding? And I remember her reading the class poem at graduation exercises. Emily was one of the brightest girls that ever graduated high school. I heard Mr. Wilkins say it time after time. I visited them at their farm before I died. Perfectly beautiful farm.
It's on the same road we lived on.
Oh, yeah, that smart farm. I've always liked that one. I wish they'd sing it.
Someone take her robe. Okay. Sam Craig, from now on you do that. Joe's father.
Hello?
Hello, Emily.
Hello, Miss Webb. Hello, Mother Gibbs.
Emily.
Hello. It's raining.
Just rest yourself. They'll be gone soon.
It seems thousands and thousands of years since Papa, remember, that was my favorite hymn. Oh, I wish I'd been here a long time. I don't like being new here. Oh, how do you do, Mr. Stimson?
How do you do, Emily?
Mother Gibbs, George and I have made that farm into just the best place you ever saw. We thought of you all the time. We wanted to show you the farm and the great long cement drinking fountain for the stock. We bought that out of the legacy you left us.
I did?
Why, don't you remember, Mother Gibbs? The legacy you left us? Why, it was over $350.
Yes, Emily.
Well, there's this patent device on the fountain so that it never overflows, Mother Gibbs. And it never goes below a certain mark. It's fine. It won't be the same with George without me. But it's a lovely farm. Life people don't understand, do they?
Well, not really.
They're sort of shut up in little boxes. I feel as though I knew them less than 1,000 years ago. My boy is spending a day in Mr. Carter's. Oh, Mrs. Carter, my boy is spending the